Hello, 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 everybody.
Oh,
Welcome to the show. I couldn't find the mute button for a quick second. The QR code is what we have shown on the webpage. Use that QR code to, you know, scan the app and get the app and go from there for the app. A beauty of having your own network, you can just say, you know what, I'm going to do a show and I'm going to do a new weekly show. And we don't have anything between 3 and 4 o'clock. So now we have something between 3 and 4 o'clock, and it's Woke Talk Radio. Welcome to Woke Talk Radio. I hope you liked our new theme. Um, 3 till 4. We'll go to 3 till 4, and then Attitude with Arnie Arneson is on, and then Robin Kincaid. So that's how we're going to do the show. So there's that. Welcome to it. I'm Tom Reynolds. Hope you enjoy the show. We are live. Um, this is our afternoon broadcast. For those who might not be able to catch the broadcast in the morning, we do something different here. I try to present more news than just strictly commentary and commentated based news. I try to give you um, a little bit in depth into the story so we can not just focus on the opinion. The morning show is the opinion show. This is a non call in, bring the information, bring the stories. It's very tightly controlled, and we're going to have show prep and maybe stories that I did not get to do in the morning. We'll do now during the show. And hopefully, we'll get to a point where we can edit these into clips and have them out for people and go from there. And we'll do comments and check your comments when we do have them. And yes, I did find my glasses. They were hiding, and they are mean. They are mean little bastards. For those who are curious about what happened this morning, I did find my glasses. In fact, Tara Devlin helped me find them because I calmed down, gave her a call. She gave me a talking to, and found the glasses. So, the first topic of today, Candace Owens. Is Candace Owens a Russian asset? Asset, asshole. Asking the question: Is Russian asset Candace Owens a thing? Just asking the question: Is Candace Owens a Russian asset? I don't know why I got to say accent when I'm thinking asset, but it is what it is. Candace Owens is a Russian asset. She tweeted out hashtag uh, Black Lives Matter, or I'm sorry, hashtag Russian Lives Matter, as a thing against Black Lives Matter, and she um, got boosted by the Russian embassy in Twitter. Candace Owens boosted by Russian embassy after tweeting Russian Lives Matter. Yes, that Candace Owens is the Twitter, and is the twit, and she is posting that Russian lives matter. I suppose in a way they do. I would say hasten to say that Russian all lives matter in the sense that we're all human beings. But this whole she's trying to take the narrative, right? She's trying to say Russian lives matter. Why don't we talk about Russian lives and what's going on with Russia and how they're being affected and who's hurting them? And she's trying to make this a thing, a political gotcha. A political gotcha moment is what she's trying to do. Candace Owens is nothing more than a female Uncle Tom. She is a black woman who is weak minded as to go to the Republicans and go against people who are trying to have a narrative against her. She does not care about normal black everyday black people. She does not care about everyday Americans. She is in fact so willing to be a Russian asset that she is happy when they retweet her Russian Lives Matter propaganda. She is probably okay with this story because Candace Owens is an attention whore. And that should bother a lot of people. She was retweeted on Monday after using the phrase Russian lives matter. Absolutely appalling the way the Russians are being treated in America and abroad, she wrote Wednesday. That our leaders and government institutions are allowing for and at times calling for this discrimination against the global Black Lives Matter hysteria is quite telling. Nobody's doing that. Where is that? Where in your fever dream is that going on? She has to make this shit up to make it any type of a this is what they do. They create a narrative of their own making, and then they say Russian lives matter, everybody. Russian lives matter. Not Black lives matter. Russian lives matter. And I declare that Candace Owens is a Russian asset. She's more than happy to be a whore for Vladimir Putin. And talk about this nonsense. Oh, and this is referring to the recent rise in vandalism and threats made against Russian-owned businesses. I'll be the first to say it. We are not against the Russian people. The Russian people are not our enemy. There's no hatred towards the Russian people. We hate what Vladimir Putin is doing. And anybody who can't recognize that out of the gate is a moron. They're an absolute moron, and Candace Owens fits the bill for an absolute moron. Candace Owens cannot out the gate recognize that we don't hate the Russian people. And people who are going after Russian businesses and everything else, stop. Don't do that. That sends a horrifying message to the Russian people and plays into Putin's propaganda. Don't play into Putin's propaganda. Don't be like Candace Owens, a Russian asset. Don't be her. Be smarter than that. Act intelligently. You want to be angry at Russia and everything else? Be angry at Russia. Be angry at Candace Owens for being an attention-grabbing whore. But don't be angry at the Russian people. The Russian people are mere pawns in this. They're pawns in this. And to be angry at them is misleading at best. And everyone should rightly condemn the violence to Russian businesses. This isn't the first time Owens has been pro-Russia either. According to Raw Story, even as the country wages the largest unprovoked military incursion since World War II. Last month, 2 days before Russia's salvo, Owens attributed Russia's invasion to eastward expansion of NATO's membership, basically parroting Tucker Carlson. Well, if Russia didn't do this, they wouldn't want to go and attack Ukraine. If Russia didn't feel threatened, they wouldn't do it. The victimhood excuse. This is a constant victimization of Vladimir Putin that they're doing. There's no actual there, except in their own fever dream. And Candace Owens in particular. Her asking the question, is Candace Owens a Russian asset? I have to say, abso-fucking-lutely. I have to say that Candace Owens is a Russian asset. I have to say that, frankly, she's an attention whore. And a lot of other mean things that I could add to that. She brings nothing to the table. This whataboutism. What about what about this? What about that? What about the Russian people? You don't care about the Russian people. You care about your own narrative that you're trying to fulfill for your own fever dream. There's no actual there. If it was a joke, there would be no punchline. Except look at Candace Owens. She is the punchline. If this were a joke. So again, Russian asset, and they're happy to be. They're happy to be a Russian asset. They're just willing to do the work of Vladimir Putin and the RSB. And they're okay with that. Let them. They want to be okay with that. That's fine by me. But that's not something that I would want to be involved in any way, shape, or form. So there's that. So the question is Candace Owens a Russian asset? I think we answered the question that yes, Candace Owens is a Russian asset. I think we answered that question very well, if I do say so myself. Now, Joe Manchin. Here's a question that we need to be asking at this point. Is Joe Manchin a traitor to the Democrats? Is he a traitor? I don't think the jury is out on this, but let's look at the evidence and find out whether or not Joe Manchin is a traitor to the Democrats. I don't think, again, the jury is out. I think, frankly, he's a traitor. Because I'm told by prominent Democrats, blue no matter who. You got to go blue no matter who, I'm told. And this guy just does not care to go blue no matter who. He goes with his own viewpoint, and you want to have your own viewpoint. You could have that all day long, but not when you're in the majority. And worse, dealing with climate. Manchin to oppose Biden Fed pick over climate stances. By the way, feel free to comment. Doesn't mean just because we're not doing as much participation during this live show, feel free to comment and leave a comment in the hashtag FYI Live or in the comment section of the YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching. Don't feel that you can't. We definitely welcome comments and commentary. But here we have Joe Manchin. And Joe Manchin to oppose Biden Fed pick over climate stances. Here he is, yet again, bucking the party. Is he a traitor? I have to say yes. I have to say that he is a traitor. In a Monday statement, Joe Manchin said that he opposes Biden nomination Sarah Bloom Raskin to serve as the Fed's vice chair of supervision because his concerns about the critical importance of financing and all of the above energy policy to meet our nation's critical energy needs. Raskin, a former Fed governor and treasurer and department deputy secretary, urged the financial regulators and banks to pay closer attention to financial risks for years that are climate related. So she is saying, maybe take a look at the issues at hand with climate change. She's saying this is an issue that we need to deal with regulation, and we need to think about in the long term, and we need to have a talk about and maybe have an open discussion. Joe Manchin shut it down. Joe Manchin can't handle that. Joe Manchin cannot handle a simple conversation about the effects of climate change and dependency on fossil fuel. So he doesn't want to have anything to do with the Democratic pick by Joe Biden. Tell me again how we're supposed to do blue no matter who. Explain this to me. How we're supposed to support Joe Biden, the president of the United States. And I do. I support Joe Biden as president of the United States. But here we have Joe Manchin being a traitor to the Dems. Is Joe Manchin a traitor? The answer is yes. It's plastered all over the place. I mean, I don't he's doing this for his own bankroll and his own gain and acting like a Republican. He needs to just not just sit with the Republican Party at this point. Joe Manchin needs to switch sides. Joe Manchin needs to say, you know what? Sorry, Democratic Party, but you're not for me anymore. I would applaud that because at least then Joe Manchin would have a set of cojones that maybe were respectable. And I would be able to respect that. Jim says Joe Manchin is a master of saying no. Indeed. Joe Manchin is a master of saying no. He's also a master at saying fuck you to Joe Biden. I think he gets off on it. I think at this point he gets off on saying the old fuck you to Joe Biden. I think that he wants to be able to be this guy who looks like he is fighting the bipartisan fight, and when really, just like any Republican, he is actually just doing what his best interests to be served will have him do. Joe Manchin is definitely a traitor to the Democratic Party. We need to get rid of Joe Manchin. We need to strip him of his power. We need to censure him. We need to do everything we can to run Joe Manchin out. What good is it to be in power when you have a guy like Joe Manchin cock blocking you all the time in your own party? If Joe Manchin doesn't like what he sees as a thing, Joe Manchin is going to go after it and cock block you. What good is that? Having that in the Democratic Party. Now, I'm all for a spirited debate, but when you win an election the way Joe Biden won the election, President Joe Biden won the election, then it's time for you, the loser, to sit down and shut up. And in my not so humble opinion, Joe Manchin needs to sit down and shut up. And he needs to be pushed aside. Like that climate change he doesn't believe in. He needs to be taken out to the woodshed, spanked by someone. And at this point, we could pick up another Democratic seat, a pure Democrat and Democratic seat. And we could actually have something that is, oh, I don't know, just better than what we're dealing with now. And pardon me while I send an important message. Something happened that I have to get somebody good news to. So I am doing that now and dealing with the situation at hand. So there is that. Joe Manchin, is he a traitor to the Democratic Party? Yes, he is. He is a traitor to the Democratic Party. And I don't think I appeasing Joe Manchin at this point, what has it gotten us? What has it helped? Why do we keep doing it? We shouldn't keep doing it. What we should be doing is going against everything that he's for. Is what we should be doing. Because he's for big fossil fuels. He's for hurting people who basically can't pay for the medications. He's for all that's not democratic things. It's about time we have somebody in the Democratic Party tell old Joe, "Get the fuck out of here." Biden needs to come down hard on Joe Manchin. Joe Joe Biden needs to say basically, "You're either with me or you're against me, and you sure seem to be against me, so I've had enough of you." We need to have that man show up because Joe Biden, oh, she deals with the environment. I can't dare have that. I can't have somebody who deals with the environment be a part of the government and wants to have a discussion about how fossil fuels might taint my portfolio. Because that's what it comes down to. Joe Manchin's portfolio being tainted. People like Joe Manchin need to be out of the Democratic Party. If you're going to tell me, look, if you're going to tell me blue no matter who, and blue no matter who is fine. I have no problem with party loyalty and showing allegiance to the party and deference to the party and everything else. But if you're going to say that to progressives and you're going to say, look, you need to be this way and this kind of way to the Democratic Party and to the party bosses, excuse me, to the Democratic Party bosses, you need to then go after the Joe Manchins and rid them out of the party. There's one thing for having a big tent if they're going to work with you. If they're going to work with you, I say have the biggest tent you can have. But if they're going to sit with the Republicans and they're going to behave like a Republican, call a spade already and just get rid of them. Because they're not doing us any good. They're not helping. And they're miserable, dirty little bastards. And it should piss everybody off at this point. It really should piss everybody off. And it doesn't piss enough people off. And the Democratic Party, oh, we're going to lose a seat. Dude, I tell you, I bet you we could pick up a prominent, good Democratic senator over Joe Manchin any day of the week. This is the easy way out to just like, oh, I can't do this. The easy way out is to just like Joe Manchin is an okay guy because he's a Democrat. Give him a pass when he does everything against the Democratic Party for the Republicans. It gets me tongue-tied because I get so angry about it because the progressives in the party get so schlacked and Joe Manchin gets away with it. And it shouldn't be a thing. But unfortunately, it is. And again, as Jim says, Joe Manchin is a master of saying no. Well, we need to start saying no to Joe Manchin. We need to start saying hell no to Joe Manchin. Jim says, unfortunately for a lot of low-income voters, it's become a personality contest. By the way, okay, that's fine. That's all right. That's all right. It wants to be a personality contest. Somebody explain to me where Joe Manchin's personality is. He comes across to me, if we're going to talk about a personality contest, he comes across to me as a guy who has no personality. He belongs in like the 1950s boardroom is where he belongs. He has again That's how he comes across. No personality. He's just a he would be doing the same thing for the tobacco people. Let's be honest. He would be doing the same. Like if he was back in the 50s or the 60s, he'd be a Democratic guy for the tobacco people because that would make his thing go for him. And that's kind of sad and pathetic that that's where we're at. Where we have a guy like Joe Manchin. By the way, if this show does well, I'll do 2 hours of this show and move the schedule around again. The show has to pick up. First one out of the gate, we're doing pretty well. But if this show does well, I'll do 2 hours. Because I believe in giving people a choice into where they can go. And it doesn't all have to be the same. And I think we can strive to have a better conversation. And I like the little more strict format of this show. I must say, like on the weekends when we do it, our good friend and pal Lou Hastings will deliver the format of the show for us. During the weekday, I will deliver the format of the show and do news and commentary. But if this is something you want, tell people about. Get the word out. And I'll do it. Now, some days I'm not going to be able to do a live show at 3 o'clock. So what I'll do is I'll do a 4th hour at the noon show and just do it that way. And that is unfortunately true that some people cannot be bothered with policy differences, Joe. I'm trying to gauge an audience and where we can go from here. And I think this time slot we have a little bit more what we can do with. So I'm willing to make it work to get into 4 and 5 o'clock slot. But we're coming up on a break. We're gonna hear the new music. I love the new music for this show. We're gonna hear the new music for the show. We're gonna talk more stories. I have CRT and Donald Trump. We're gonna rehash that for those who might have missed it earlier. We're gonna have a really good show, and we'll get through it for you. It'll be fun. Lots to talk about today, and we're not quite done. Hashtag FYI Live if you want to tweet me. Hashtag FYI Live is the best way to get in touch with me and let me know what you think and what you're thinking, and we're gonna be here. You know, somebody has to do it, and if that somebody is me, well, albeit it's me, and I'm okay with that. And coming up next is a quick break with the music, and we'll be out of here in touch shortly. So thank you guys for listening so far. We'll be right back. Stay with us. You're listening to Woke Talk Radio on FYNation.com, our first ever weekday show. So hope you like it. Different format than the morning show. A little more concise, a little bit more put together. A little bit not thought, but a little bit more streamlined, I think is the best word for it. So we're a little bit more streamlined. We'll be right back. So bear with us, folks.
Hey there, fellow working class heroes. Tune in to The Rick Smith Show every weeknight from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. That's Monday through Friday, 9 p.m., right here on commercial free FYINation.com, your liberal lion for all things talk radio. The Rick Smith Show is commercial free thanks to your generous donations to FYINation.com. The Rick Smith Show is where working people come to talk. You can find FYINation.com on your smart device and listen to me, Rick Smith, weeknights 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on FYINation.com. FYINation.com is communication with motivation. For more information about The Rick Smith Show, visit our website at thericksmithshow.com. To participate during the program, call in live. Give us a call, 1-866-416-RICK. That's 1-866-416-7425.
Hey, this is Brad Friedman of the Bradcast. You can now listen to our show every day at 11 p.m. Eastern and again in the morning at 7 a.m. Start your day or end your night with the Bradcast. The Bradcast is commercial-free right here on FYI Nation, thanks to those of you who donate to FYI Nation's Patreon account. Thanks for listening to FYI Nation and to the Bradcast, now heard every day on FYINation.com at 11 p.m. Eastern and again at 7 a.m. FYINation.com, communication with motivation.
Oh, welcome back. I love it when the computer just has a hissy and doesn't show exactly what I'm trying to show it. So let's start from the beginning. Welcome back to the program. Um, I love trying to get this to work in the right way. The question: does GOP hate a defense? Does the GOP, the great opposing party, the Republican Party, do they hate a defense? Well, if the defense like is for the Republican narrative, they're all for it. Like Kyle Rittenhouse, not a murderer, not a murderer, murderer. Um, they're all for the defense. But if the defense does not meet the narrative that they're going for, you get a story like GOP raises red flag on Supreme Court nominees Gitmo work, Guantanamo work. So Josh Hawley, dickhead du jour, one of several GOP senators on the panel, seen as having the White House ambition, said that he raised the issue during her morning meeting, and it would be likely to come up again during the hearing. We did talk about her representation of Guantanamo Bay detainees. I expressed some concern about this, Hawley said, adding that he thought her work on Guantanamo Bay cases while private practice was interesting and a little concerning. He has concerns about Judge Jackson doing defense work. They don't like a good defense. Oh my God, Judge Jackson, you're defending black people and brown people. What's wrong with you? Don't you know you're not supposed to do that? See, they don't have anything meaningful to pick at. So they're like, well, maybe she's anti-American. They're going to diminish her resume, her fine resume, her stellar resume with, oh, maybe she's anti-American. She defended the Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay prisoners. She must be anti-American, right? Where's the birth certificate? Why don't you, Josh Hawley? There's no there. You're creating a mountain out of a molehill. You don't actually, like, give a damn about leading or governing or anything that's important of the sort. So you're going to make this bullshit up. Senator Cornyn of Texas predicted that Jackson would face questions on her work related to Gitmo detainees. I think you'll hear more about the Guantanamo Bay representation, Cornyn said. So for the low information, get ready for this. Get ready for this. The questioning of Judge Jackson's patriotism because she defended Gitmo detainees. Because Jim says this is what happens when they can't say the N-word anymore. Absolutely right. Hashtag FYI Live if you want to comment, or comment in the Twitter section or the Facebook section as well of the program. You're listening to Woke Talk Radio, a new live show on FYNation.com. We're spreading our wings. There is nothing to, like, Judge Jackson has like, they would, they're so mad she wasn't on the right side. Because then they could say, look, strong black woman, look. Instead of being terrified of a strong black woman, they would be praising her like they would Clarence Thomas. But this is a real strong black woman that they are afraid of. So they have to tear her down. And what is the narrative that they're going to choose? They are going to choose that she is not patriotic. She is not a patriotic American because she defended Gitmo detainees. You wait. They're going to say, Judge, your resume is perfect, but you defended people in Guantanamo Bay. You defended Gitmo detainees, Judge. And her answer, rightly so, is, well, everybody needs a good defense. Everybody in America deserves a good defense. But their narrative doesn't fit that equation. So they're going to attack her and they're going to diminish her and they're going to diminish, liberals hate America. So they're going to continue to diminish and diminish and diminish. You watch, this is going to be the narrative. Be woke about it now. Be woke about it now. Be awake about it now. Because this is what they're going to do. They're going to diminish her and they're going to attack a nothingness of not being patriotic. I could hear it in my head right now, folks. I could hear them going after her patriotism instead of looking at her impeccable qualifications. They got to diminish her patriotism because she worked as a defense attorney, Gitmo detainees. And by the way, the question being, does the GOP hate a defense? I would fathom to say that it's not just with Judge Jackson. Like, if you have a strong defense attorney going into judgeship, they'd hate on that irregardless unless it fit in their narrative. And usually that doesn't fit on their narrative. They like the strong, tough on crime, going after criminals. You can't help the little guy. That dissuades from the Republican conservative narrative. Judge Jackson is a judge with impeccable taste. Biden picked a primo person to be the next Supreme Court judge. The Republican National Committee, this is where they're all the same, spotlighted the issue, arguing that Jackson's advocacy goes to just beyond giving them a competent defense. Despite Jackson's claim that she did not get to choose her clients as a public defender, she continued to advocate for Guantanamo terrorists when she went into private practice. She hates America! Joe Biden hates America! I'm telling you, this is the fever dream now, folks. The fever dream is Judge Jackson hates America. They cannot diminish her qualifications in her private practice or personal practice or her schooling. She doesn't have any drinking buddies. It's a shame to say. So they're going to attack her on being a good defense attorney, on believing in a strong defense. And not just, oh, they're guilty. They're guilty. They're in Gitmo. They're guilty. They're in I mean, for Pete's sake, let's put all the January 6th people in Gitmo, and maybe the conservatives would actually see them as guilty. If we're going to go by their logic. Their absolute slander. That is a good book title. If I wrote a book, that's an awesome book title. Absolute slander. How to defeat the Republican Party with one word. That would be a good book title. Just spitballing here. But back on track. The Guantanamo Bay military prison, which opened in 2002 on the U.S. naval base in Cuba to house terrorism suspects after 9/11 attacks, has been off the public radar today. But get ready for your Rush Limbaugh Gitmo shirts. They're going to be back in style. It's the subject of fierce legal disputes and a constant gridlock between Democratic presidential administrations that have pledged to close it and members of Congress putting restrictions in place that make it harder to do so. During that time, her cases included the work on behalf of Ki Ali Gul, a now former prisoner at Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay. In the case of Ki Ali Gul versus Bush, Jackson listed the case as one of the 10 most significant of her career in her... See, and this is why I fucking hate the Republicans. Because she's like, yeah, this is what I did, bitch. And they're like, oh no, we gotta make her hate America. She's proud of it. Not like Donald Trump is proud of when he shits himself, but like when, oh my God, a Democratic person does something right. And just. She's proud of it. And she says, this is something that I raised up for my career. And this is something that is important to me. And this is something that matters to me, she says. Rightly so. She says this. Jackson also worked in the Supreme Court amicus briefs in cases related to Guantanamo Bay detainees, including Boumediene versus Bush on behalf of groups supporting challenging the Defense Department's detention review system. She hates America. Get ready. Judge Jackson hates America. She hates America because the GOP hated defense. They just want guilty, 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 Muslim, 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 Muslim. The GOP cannot stand somebody standing up for somebody else's rights. And a strong black woman to boot? Are you fucking kidding me? So Josh Hawley, it's a red flag. John Cornyn, it's a red flag. Judge Jackson is a red flag for me because she done defended them there Gitmo boys. How can you go defend people who are terrorists, Judge Jackson? How can you go defend the terrorists, Judge Jackson? Because I'm a patriot. That should be your answer. I'm a patriot. I believe in a strong defense for even the most guilty person. I'm a patriot. I believe in America. So you get a strong defense. Even if you're guilty, you get a strong defense. And especially when the system is trying to railroad you, is when you need the most strong defense. But, the conservatives, they hate the GOP. They hate a strong defense. So they're painting Judge Jackson as a woman who hates America because she helped the Gitmo detainees. You watch. Bring this show back. The first woke talk radio. Bring it back during the hearings. We'll watch the hearings. Judge Jackson, why do you hate America? Why is it you hate America so much, Judge Jackson? This is what you're going to get out of these people. Because they can't diminish her record. Her record is impeccable. She's impeccable. She's the perfect nominee that Joe Biden, as President of the United States, could pick for a Supreme Court justice. She's a strong black woman. God damn, I'm excited. And they're going to try and nitpick. Like they nitpick the Bible and cherry pick out of the Bible the viewpoints that they think they have that are correct. And they're absolutely wrong, and they're absolutely pig-headed. And it should make you angry. It should frustrate you. Like, the reason we're doing woke talk radio, is because we can talk about it on this level and, like, unmask the fever dream and the talking points and the Frank Luntz beautification of the right. Fox News tries to beautify the right wing cesspool. We unmask it. We take the mask off and we say, this is wrong. This is something that shouldn't be like this. And then we say, how can we do better? How can we make the system work for us? Get people like Judge Jackson on the bench. Get people like Joe Manchin out of Congress. That's how we do the system better. That's my fever dream. My fever dream is a system that works for everybody and does not attack you based on your looks. But if they're going to attack you, they're going to attack you based on your viewpoint. Judge Jackson is impeccable. Impeccable. I'll take her over Clarence Thomas any day of the week. Impeccable. Let me say again, she is impeccable. She deserves our support, Judge Jackson. And she's a strong advocate for a defense in private practice and when the public demanded it. And who doesn't love that? And she's a strong black woman with a strong African-American family. And there's everything to love about her. And the Republicans will take everything they can to nitpick and nitpick and nitpick and go after her because they think they're right. Because they think they have the right way in this. When there's nothing right about going after Judge Jackson in this case. Because she helped people at Guantanamo Bay. There's nothing right about it. So let's talk about Donald Trump. let's final thoughts here. I want to talk about Donald Trump again because it's important, and the least for last. So we're going to talk about Donald Trump. I'm going to tweet the story out from Business Insider. I'm not gonna play the video of it. I'm not gonna do that to your ears. It's not nice. I like being the nice talk radio host. I like bringing you the information, and we talked about this morning, but it needs to be talked again. And my question is CRT a great thing? And I happen to say yes, it is. CRT is a great thing because CRT demands you look critically at race and racial politics in America. CRT is a wonderful thing. And Jim posts Orange Man bad. Yes. That's why I call him the Orange Menace, by the way, because he's a fucking menace. But Donald Trump, for those who missed it earlier today, when we talked about it on the morning show, this is kind of like the after hours show that we do on Woke Talk Radio for FI Nation. Would pick maybe a couple of stories, throw them together, and be more concise with opinion and talk. And that way you can go and get the best information. But Trump calls on supporters to lay down their lives to defend the U.S. against critical race theory. That's what you want to lay down your lives against? Critical, really, MAGA man? MAGAbot? Critical race theory? Are you fucking shitting me? So he was speaking in South Carolina on Saturday to his Klan rally. I'm sorry to the Republicans who still like him. It's not a Klan rally. To the Republicans who still like him. He was speaking as he does. And he was talking about critical race theory as he does. And he said it's a matter of national survival. That you must eliminate critical race theory from your schools. It's a matter of national survival. Really? Really? Jim says in the comments he's basically calling for the terrorization of teachers. And I say absolutely. This man is batshit crazy. Maybe the murder of teachers. As if we don't have enough of that going on. You gotta lay down. Where is it? Get the correct statement. Lay down their lives to fight against the critical race theory? Are you kidding me? The fate of any nation ultimately depends upon the willingness of its citizen to lay down, and they must do this, lay down their very lives to defend the country. I agree. You must go out and vote. You must go out and vote for every Democratic person you can. Do not give this orange freak an iota of power. You must go out and vote like your life depended on it. Your life depends on it. He is telling you. Donald Trump is telling you your life depends on it. You must lay down your life. I am telling you, your life depends on it. He will be in power. If we do not do everything to stop him, they want nothing but control, and they want yes men. And being against CRT is that. This is the abolition of critical thought. Forget critical race. Let's go to critical thought. They don't want you thinking for yourselves. Donald J. Trump does not want you thinking for yourselves, because if you think for yourself, you will vote against Donald J. Trump. So Donald Trump is going to be against critical race theory because it points out that what has the government been? Racist. What is he a part of? The racist government. What will he continue to be? Racist. Donald J. Trump is more than a menace. He is a fraudulent, deceitful master of con. And we need to stop him. We need to stop him in 2022. Enough of this bullshit infighting. We need to stop him in 2024. And we need to make sure that Donald Trump is enemy number one. And by the way, we don't need a single AR-15 to do it. I say again, we, the Democratic Party, do not need a single AR-15. We do not need a single weapon. What the Democratic Party needs? Votes. The Democratic Party just needs to vote. Check the voting rules. Make sure you're on the vote. Bring somebody to vote with you when you go and vote. Do all the things that are necessary to get to the polls, to get people to the polls, to defeat Donald Trump. It's imperative. I do not want 4 years of me talking about how bad Donald Trump is. I will shoot myself in the head. And I'm not even kidding. So save a life today. Vote anybody but Trump. Forget blue no matter who. Anybody in the Democratic column but Trump. A flying sea monkey can do better than Donald Trump. It's imperative. He is telling us our lives depend on it. You damn well bet that dollar that he doesn't have that he's telling the truth. He wants these minions of his to lay down their lives. Well, damn it. We need to basically get out there and be smart.